I think we live in an age of, I would say, masculine hysteria.
And you get upset and you tell some people, and some people are like, oh, deal with it, get over it. And it's like, you don't know what it's like.
In terms of my male friends, I can see that they're more likely to open up to me as a female.
According to the Oxford English Dictionary, masculinity refers to the qualities or attributes regarded as characteristics of men. However, there is a growing awareness of the toxic side of this social concept, which encourages men to be dominant, violent, self-reliant, and suppress their emotions, which can have devastating consequences. Suicide is the leading cause of death in men aged 45 and under in England and Wales. And with terms like man up and boys don't cry being social norms, it's no wonder this statistic is so high. The term toxic masculinity is a relatively new one. Do you think the term in itself potentially stigmatises men?
Toxic masculinity is a new term. This isn't something that actually has a lot of traction in academia. It's a term that seems to be more coming from activist spaces and also online spaces. And there seems to be a certain amount of work that this term is doing. People are using it for particular reasons. So it helps to draw attention to issues of power and inequality. It helps to draw attention to some of the more harmful aspects of masculinity, both for men themselves as well as for others in their lives. So there's something that it's doing, and it can be useful, again, to address certain kinds of issues. One of the problems is that very few men are likely to think of themselves as toxic. So when we use the language of toxic masculinity, a lot of people already aren't listening because they won't necessarily see themselves as falling into that kind of a pattern. And so I think, again, that might be a reason why we might want to rethink how we use this language.
So how much is masculinity or masculine traits something that can be displayed by women? Masculinity
as a set of assumptions and a set of ideals is something that we all participate in constructing. So that means that women can both possess masculinity, they can act in masculine ways themselves. So the way in which a woman might relate to her partner, to brothers, to fathers, and so on. Women definitely play a role, a very strong role in many ways, in shaping masculinity.
Nowhere are issues of toxic masculinity and alpha male culture more prevalent than in prison. Something Terrell Lewis knows all too well. He spent 11 months in jail, accused of a murder he didn't commit. So I've come here to his hometown of Brixton to find out how he's turned his life around through fitness. So Terrell, you spent part of your youth in a gang, surrounded by gang culture. How much does masculinity and being an alpha male play a role in that culture?
It's a eat or be eaten kind of thing out here on the streets. For me growing up, it's like you have to make your mark, you have to make your name.
Why was it that you found yourself involved in that world? What was missing from your life?
Well, I'm not coming from, you know, no silver spoons growing up. I'm coming from, you know, poverty, missing father, and, you know, I'll be on the estate, and just living on that estate, I became a product of that estate, you know what I mean? You know, a lot of people are having the wrong conversations every single day, and it's just like, for here with the street gym, what we do here, everyone's on the same journey, and that's just to better themselves, better their mind, better their body. Anything they're doing, we kind of support them around that. So I think it's about having the right people around you, having the right conversations, and then it just starts from there, man.
We're talking about toxic masculinity, and some of the traits of that are lack of emotion, violence, and I think that's what people think of as being part and parcel of the military experience. Is that something that you found?
I think there was elements of that, specifically when I became dependent on alcohol. But yeah, there's elements of competitiveness within the ranks, but we're moving away from that now. We're becoming a lot better at using people for their strengths rather than their overdone weaknesses. I'm not shy in crying anymore. There's no reason why not to. You know, if I feel I need to, then it's an emotion that's perfectly natural. Just because we're men doesn't make us less of men.